Grace and peace be with you. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm the pastor at Sycamore Creek in Potterville. I have a brief thought for you today. It's based on Psalm 90. As a pastor, I am constantly experiencing that as people, we are all headed toward death. We're all headed there. It's inescapable, although most of us, we do our best. We do our best to avoid the topic of death. We do our best to avoid dying itself. We're pretty clung to life. And thinking about death leads to a question or two or three. So one question is, well, what makes life have purpose or value? We can answer that one with hedonism, which is basically to live for today because tomorrow we die. Or we can live with an eternal view where we trust daily in God as we move in this life toward life to the full and in the next life. So Psalm 90 is a psalm of Moses, and Moses was surrounded by death. He reflected on this question that I'm asking about purpose and about value, and he responded with worship and with prayer. Worship and prayer. Now, this psalm, Psalm 90, is thought to be one of the oldest psalms in the book of Psalms. And at the end of this psalm, Moses basically concludes that our fleeting, our temporary lives, well, they have the most meaning, the most value when we live wisely before the Almighty God. That's where he says we get our purpose and meaning and value. And so in this psalm, Moses writes in the first two verses about the eternal nature of God. And then in verses 3 through 6, he writes about the temporary nature of man. He writes about God's wrath over sin in verses 7 through 11, and then concludes with praying for God's mercy and for God's grace. I encourage you today to read through this psalm with an eye toward your purpose, your meaning in life. And may you, through this psalm, be given a heart of wisdom and purpose through God, the eternal God. Grace and peace be with you.